3-1, but that was an escape, but a good one, because with if he had not got this across the line, Madrid would have been five, and then tomorrow I think they'll win against Atleti. That's 8 points. That would have caused meltdown everywhere. But good to have a win. Tom, what do you feel?
Yeah, you need these kind of the games, already these kinds of wins, right? Because we'll have these kinds of games a lot this season. I feel like because it won't be easy. The Liga teams play the way the Liga teams play, and we need to have these sort of performances to still graft out wins. Obviously, the first half was a bit of a struggle, yeah, to say the least, and then the second half was much better.
Better.
Some subs were introduced, and the game completely changed. And I'm glad we can do that as well. I'm glad we can go out there, play our game, and then, okay, if we struggle, Flick can make a change, and we can still flip that switch and successfully flip that switch. And to me, that's good news, obviously. So overall, very happy. Well, not very happy, maybe, but happy that we got the win. And still think that with a fully um, full squad, like a not rotated squad, we still can do much better than we did in that first half. But obviously, we'll take the win. Dev. I think that's at this point, as you said, it's just important to get those wins.
Yeah, I mean it keeps you in the hunt, and it keeps you in the table. Obviously, nothing will be decided until March, late March. So there's enough time. And even if we had lost today, it doesn't mean anything. But still, it does show up a few challenges. So Olmo and Ferran together, Gerard Martin on the right. What happens if, I mean, obviously, Frankie coming on changed a lot. I
Hmm.
doubt who else can score that goal except Lewa. But then
Hmm.
next year when Lewa's gone, or Lewa, he's using Lewa very sparingly. He's, I don't think he's played 90 minutes yet this season.
No, no, no.
So he's using him in those the second half from the bench, probably to keep him fresh.
Yep.
But yeah, it's there are things to talk about, and teams are watching. When you put nine men behind the ball and into the box and go long, Barca will struggle. That's just the
But
template.
everyone will, I think. I think this is just something that is that kind of football. It's very difficult to counter that, right? And yes, we do have players on the pitch that are meant to be these low block unlockers, so to speak. But the front line had none of that really. With Rashford, Rafinha, and Ferran, you don't really have these. We talked about this last time as well. I think that we don't have any of these lock pickers. Lamine is a lock picker, for
That means a
example.
lot.
But
Yeah.
yeah, Rafinha is not a lock picker, right?
Also,
Neither is
Rafinha is not
Rashford.
playing his, I think, role. I think
Mm,
he's shifted. So Rafinha is not
mm,
half the Rafinha of last season. I think to accommodate for Rashford. So we've got a Rashford who is he was good today. I won't say he wasn't good. And I think in the first half there are a couple of chances he could have
mhm.
buried them, and that would have been a different story altogether. But those are difficult chances. So
Yeah, yeah.
I think this adjustment because of Rashford that Rafinha is going through, that's not unleashing the best of Rafinha. Lamin's obviously out for a while, so let's keep him out. And then we have Ferran and Olmo running into the channel together. And
Mm.
yeah, that's just one of those things. Now, what do you do? Like Perman's out, Gavi's obviously out, so Olmo's going to play a lot
Yeah.
unless he is also injured, which is highly possible. So
Mm.
then uh,
Always,
there
always.
are quite a few questions on this.
There are, and I think to your point of Rafinha and Rashford, I think Flick is still trying to figure out, okay,
Figure out.
yeah, who plays where because they seem to be interchanging positions a lot. Sometimes we see Rafinha on the left and
Right on
Rashford
the
on the
left.
right, and then vice versa, exactly. And then they switch positions mid-game in case the other option did not work. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with finding that formula, but that front three is I don't know. Just it does feel like maybe if he pushed Olmo into the false line role and then had Rashford and Rafinha flanking him, I feel like that may would be a better option. But then if that does happen, then who plays a 10? Because there's no Furman, right? Do you push Pedri higher up and then but then if you push Pedri higher up, who starts next to De Jong?
Next to
Is it
him.
Casado? Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of these questions, and it's a domino effect because if you move one of the pieces from the starting 11 somewhere, someone else has to come in and fill that
And
void.
compensate the compensation,
Mhm.
and we have seen challenges. I think this season, sometimes it comes off. Today we struggled, especially in the first half. I think we had a I think, yeah, they thoroughly nullified us in the first half, and a lot of teams who are watching that will try to emulate that. But let's start with the goal. The Joan Garcia goal is comical because it's a
Yep.
result of confidence in the team. He should have never done. It's true. He would have never done that in Espanyol because Espanyol don't play this way and they don't
No.
have a high line, and he doesn't have to run out and he doesn't have to take care of that. So he just makes those reflex saves and he looks amazing, which sometimes he'll have to do in Barca as well, but most of the time it will be this. And how he manages that is where I think John Garcia still needs work. Time. It's nothing wrong that he did. He's a great
Hmm.
goalkeeper, and definitely we needed somebody like him. But and his passing from the back has definitely improved a lot. But you could see the pressure today on him multiple times. We saw that, and that is something that I think he'll learn with time. But yeah, the less he does that, it's better for us.
Absolutely. If the less times he's found in that position, that means that our defense is actually doing their job a bit better. But I don't really blame him. Of course, the pass was poor. He did make a mistake, but I don't think he makes that like 10 times. If that happens 10 times, maybe he makes that mistake once, maybe twice tops, right? So wouldn't expect Joan Garcia to be making such mistakes, and to be able to go out from your line and sweep the ball and all that stuff. He'll have to do that, obviously. And that's what we kept saying. Okay, now needs to learn how to be a Barca goalkeeper. He knows how to be a very good goalkeeper. Now he needs to learn how to be a Barca goalkeeper. And this will be part of the job. This will be definitely part of the job, especially with the high line, especially with how we play. And even with the tweaks that Flick has been making to the high line, which are there, still are there, he will have to be sometimes you just have to be show this confidence and be able to pull these things off. And sometimes that means making mistakes, but I think that's all part of the process.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
part of the
wouldn't,
process. As I
yeah,
said, like it will happen again, and a few times before he gets to the groove of and. But I think he, all said and done, I think he's done faster than I expected him to be on many
right,
things, like
yeah,
his short passing,
hmm,
his use of hands, and so on and so forth. So I think he's excelled in that. But this is a
hmm,
challenge for any Barca goalkeeper because they will be caught up, and then there will be a long ball, and then there will be miscommunication between the last defender and the goalkeeper, and you will try to
hmm,
rush out and you will try to save. So
hmm,
this is common for Barca goalkeepers, and he'll have to learn through it. But yeah, I mean, you cannot compare Espanyol, John Garcia with Barca. It's just impossible. Two different teams,
yeah.
two different ways of playing. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Okay, Pedri is less effective behind the striker. He prefers an abundance of. Today he was less effective, but because he was hemmed in completely. Like I think he was completely hemmed in consistently until um, Frankie came in and he created more space. So yeah, first half we didn't see much of Pedri, and whenever that happens, Barca suffer. So we suffered. Now the question is, do Pedri and De Jong play all the time, all the games consistently? Is that the answer or something else? That's to be debated. But yeah, Pedri does need involvement and so on. But Dom, your thoughts?
Yeah, Pedri is best when Pedri gets free reign to be where Pedri wants to be, where Pedri needs to be. And that's not going to change. But yes, to your point, with De Jong, he feels more free because he
Yeah,
knows, okay, there's this guy who I know can do these things comfortably and who can give me the safety net and the confidence to do the things that I like to do as well. Because we notice how Pedri and Frankie move in relation to each other. It just they benefit one another, right? They empower one another. And that doesn't happen with Casillas on the pitch. Again, Van Lee, last stream you said to me, don't respect Casillas. I've scouted Castro like 5 years ago when he was nowhere. Right? He was someone in La Masia buried, and I said, okay, this guy is really really good. Let's bring him to the first team. And now he's here, and I love Castro to death. I really love that guy. But De Jong is different level
different
entirely.
players,
Right?
different levels.
Yeah,
Different
different
levels.
levels. It's not even comparable how big of a difference there is, and that's not shade on Castro. It's just how good De Jong is. And you saw that tonight. And it's in the part of what makes De Jong so good is also a part of what makes Kunde so good at right back. It's his connection with the second most important player on the or the most important player on that wavelength. For Kunde, that's Lamine Yamal. Kunde has that with Lamine Yamal. That's what makes Kunde such a great right back because he enables Yamal to do the things that Yamal likes to do. The same goes for Pedri and Frenkie. They enable each other. Frenkie enables Pedri as much as Pedri enables Frenkie. And I think that dynamism, that combination is what makes Barca tick. You saw how different we were in the second half. It's all well, it's not all because of Frenkie, but it's largely because of Frenkie. Because you
Yeah, he
reintroduce
changed the
that
game,
dynamic.
definitely. No questions on that. He changed the game, and then Lever did Lever things. But we were just not having any luck in breaking through that nine-man block, and Frankie did a lot to change that around. And once we had the goal, once we had one up on them, then obviously they had to come out to play and score and equalize. So obviously then spaces
Yeah,
opened up. It was much easier back then. But then till that happened, till they were 1-0, it was it was hard. And Frankie did a lot to change that. And somebody made a good somebody made a comment here which is interesting. Let me find that out. Yes, Frank. Frank says Casado is painfully book smart. With a fixture like this, he should. I understand what he's saying. Yes, he's very practical in the way he plays, and in these kind of situations, you have to be different, or you have to adjust your playing style. And I think just Castle needs time. One, he has got some things which are really good, like that pass, like he's defensively very good, defensively very aware, and so on. So there are things that are good in him, but in a nine-man block, I think you need different kind of skill sets, and Casado still needs to figure that out. But they're different players. They both have their utility. Like imagine where the team would be if Casado was not there right now. That would be difficult because you don't
yeah,
have Garvey, you don't have Furman, you don't have half your midfield, right? So there is a need for him. We don't have to do either or. They both have a place. They both are required, and they're both different. They're both suited for different things. And Frankie's like, yeah, he's been incredible. Even the cross that came from him was pretty phenomenal today. And you don't get that quality just like that. So yeah, there are things like that. But let's go into the next one, which as originally I thought about was yes, Gerard Martin.
hmm
Yes, we a lot of people have a lot of points of view on Gerard Martin, but I don't think the flank is his position. He's a defender. Uh, Probably there is where he's good. And if you put him on a foot race with a fast winger, he's going to lose, and that's what happened throughout today, right? With Hassan. So, but the question is, what's the alternative? Do we have the money to find an alternative? I don't think we do. I don't think next season also we will. Right now, as Balde
hmm
is playing, that's fine. But Balde is out, and hopefully from the Sociedad game, we'll not have this problem. But he's also done
yeah.
good work. I mean, there are many games. Like the last two games, he played flawlessly. It was good. So there'll be bad days. There'll be bad days. Hassan was really good today. Rondon was problematic for Araujo. So yeah, I mean, when you have those kind of players, people are going to struggle, and that's what we saw. But yeah, Dom.
Well, we talked last time as well about Gerard Martin, and we said, okay, he does things well. He can be tidy, he can be calm, he can be reliable to an extent, but there's also a cap on his ability and on his potential as a Barca player, especially compared to players like, for example, Alejandro Balde, of course, who is the starter on the left side of the pitch. But then, what I want to know in Flick's mind, where is Joffrey Torrens in all that thing, that conversation? Because yes, we're talking about Gerard Martin, who is apparently not good enough, but then again, he is starting ahead of Joffrey, and Joffrey is not really getting that much out of this season as of yet, right? And I would say that on paper, Joffrey is the bigger talent, obviously with the higher ceiling, but then why is he not playing as much? And the same thing happened with Hector Fort, or a similar thing happened with Hector Fort on the right side, where we thought, okay, this guy has potential, he can be someone maybe for the longer term, maybe not now, but we see something in him. But then Flick was like, okay, nah, he needs to go. Even if it's for a loan, he needs to go because there's no place for him just
Did you see the El Shea match today,
Yes,
Dom?
exactly. That's why I'm referencing that now because Hector Ford, yeah, we all had opinions of Hector Ford, but then Flick knows his stuff, right? He knows his stuff, and there was a reason why he sent Hector Ford away, even though half the fan base was like, okay, play Hector Ford ahead of this and that player, right? And the same might be happening now, where he sees more value and more contribution in someone like Gerard Martin than he sees in Joffrey at the moment. It might be painful to hear, especially for someone like me who loves Joffrey, who I have been scouting Joffrey for a long time, and I do think he's very, very good already. But Flick seems to disagree. Maybe not entirely, but at the moment he doesn't seem too convinced. Let's just put it
Same
that
thing
way.
with Tony Fernandez, right? Like there's a huge
Hmm.
fan base who are asking for why is not Tony playing? Tony should be
Yeah,
playing.
yeah, yeah.
And I mean, do they have a point? Yeah, they have a point. I mean,
Hmm.
this is Barca. We are giving chances to the academy, and they should be
Hmm.
playing. But for whatever
Hmm.
reason, Flick hasn't been convinced. And I would still go with Flick right now. I
Yeah, yeah,
definitely
oh
not
yeah.
claim
Mhm.
to know understand football better than he does. He's an excellent man. There are many things. There's man management. There is game management. Like today,
Yeah,
he understood his team very well. He understood the game very well. He understood what he had to do very well, and you could see that. There was
yeah,
calmness and I was when the first goal happened. I was like, yeah, this is going to be hard. But then when the first goal we got through, and I was confident that we can win. We can win
yeah.
if we don't concede. We will win. You could see
Hmm.
the blueprint out there. So there's something about Flick in how he manages the game. So we got to come on. He's really like revived this Barcelona. Let's just be honest about him. So go with him, give him the benefit of
Yeah,
doubt. But yeah, I mean, but these thoughts will be there. Like we all have our favorite players, and we'll want them to play. And if they don't get a chance, then we'll feel bad about it, and so on. But
hmm,
yeah, all right, let's talk about Rafinha. We often talked about him last season that this is a generational
yeah.
season that he is having and probably will never have it again. I don't think it's that bad, but I do think he has been hampered by his position. He's just been moved around a lot, I think. And I think this whole Rashford, Rafinha, we'll have to figure this out. I don't think Flick has found the answer yet on how to make both of them tick at the same time. From that, it's probably, I mean, Lamin's not here, right? So uh, I just know it's different. Like today, there were a couple of chances Rafinha got that he would have buried last season. Absolutely
Hmm.
buried it, right? But he didn't.
Hmm.
So now, like last season, he was burying half chances. Like half chances, it's gone. Like
Yeah,
Rafinha scored,
yeah.
right? And had it happened so many times, right? So we should keep that in consideration, like when we compare and make it an apples to apples comparison. I don't think it's just a wing thing, but Bom, you're a better tactical analyst than I am.
Yeah, last season yeah, as you said, he scored some of the chances, and when I was screaming at the screen saying don't shoot," and then he shoots and he somehow scores the
Of course.
goal. And we kept saying, okay, these things we cannot expect them to happen every single week. And they last season, they credit to him, they did happen a lot. But now we've seen, okay, maybe this is a bit of a regression to mean. And when it comes to the tactical composition of the team, we have Rafinha and Rashford. They are similar in many things, right? They do different things. For example, Rafinha is more of a creative passer than Rashford is. For example, Rashford is more of a carrier than Rafinha is. That's the other difference. But then at the same time, they are players who need to be close to the goal. They need to shoot. They have excellent ball striking, so they are goal scorers, but they are both the type of player that needs someone to create for them. Right. Most of the time, they will need someone, a third party, someone like Lamine Yamal, for example, or maybe someone like Dani Olmo down the middle. Right. They need someone like that to be this lock picker from the middle or from wherever it is, to send in those passes, to serve those chances on a platter for them, and they need to be as close as possible to the goal and to be shooting as much as possible. Rafinha may not score a banger every game that he plays, but the more chances you feed him, the chance of his output will increase. With Rashford, it's a very similar thing. I said earlier on Twitter as well, get him closer to the goal and get him into shooting positions. That's all you need to do with with Rashford, sorry, and then Rafinha is the same thing. So that means that the player that plays with them, if they are together on the pitch, the player that plays with them needs to be someone who can do the link up, who can do the pass, who can create stuff for them. And Ferran is not that player. He's not going to do that. So I think the choice of the third player is crucial here, and it was wrong, but it was also kind of like, what else is there, right? There wasn't much choice, because if you put Olmo there, we talked about this, then it might happen that there's no one to replace Olmo, number 10, for example, and so on and so forth. So it's a very difficult situation for Flick, but I think the front three that we saw tonight just doesn't really work that well. It's not optimized.
They don't
Yeah.
gel. This front three doesn't gel. He still has to work on how to make these three gel together. What do you think of Rashford's performance? I mean, it was okay. I mean, there was nothing bad in his performance. He played 90 minutes. He tried his best. There were I think that he had a couple of chances. Where on another day with just a little different of a strike and he scores and then that's a different story altogether. But that said, I will still say Rashford still, like, you could have seen when in the block then and everybody's trying to pass those small passes and they're trying to unblock the block and they're going to go through.
Yeah.
In those situations, Rashford isn't the best because this is not his training, so he struggles. He loses balls. He still doesn't know what his role is on that. So you can figure that out. But beyond that, I think he did what he was asked to do, and I think this is one of those I think it's going to take time for Rashford to be completely, I won't say the word rehabilitated or what have you, but to find his rhythm again. He's just barely starting. And so I think we will see some of this for a while. Obviously, he's getting starts, which is good, which
Yeah.
means that the club either likes him or wants to buy him or something. Otherwise, he won't be getting so many starts. So he's getting starts, which is good, but his chemistry need to come through, and he just needs a little bit of luck sometimes. Sometimes you just need some luck. That's it. As a striker, you score a few goals, you get your momentum back, and then you become a different player altogether. But today was he created, he tried, should have scored probably difficult chances, but still was enough for
Yeah.
a prime
True.
striker to just bury it, and that would have totally changed the game. And he will get those chances, but he has to take those chances. He won't get 10 of those in every
Mhm.
game. He'll get one or two. He has to make them count if he wants to be back in that elite, discussion that he should be in, given his
He
talent.
should be. Yeah, I think many of the situations that he found himself in tonight could have been much better had his decision making been better in the final third as well. I always felt like tonight that he, apart from the first opening, maybe 10 minutes where he had two clear chances, there was a cut back to the box. He was in the right place at the right time. He shot a goal. It was blocked. Doesn't matter. You move on. You try again. But then after that point, he started doing some flicks. He started doing some step overs, a move or two too much. Right. He should have ended the action like two moves ago. That was his main thing tonight. I felt like he was trying too much to be fancy, and that was kind of the whole.
He is trying too much. You
Yeah,
can
yeah,
make
and the
that
whole.
out. He's really trying very
Mm,
hard, but maybe sometimes you just got to let it go. Let's let the game just happen and just be there, and things will. But
mm.
you can understand he's gone through a tough time. The media is really
Oh yeah,
after him
he wants to prove
for no
himself a lot.
reason. And you can
I
feel
know.
the pressure. You can feel the pressure of why he wants to prove himself, but it's going to be a tough one because it is these chances he needs to take. He takes these two chances every game. He's good. He's golden, right?
Yeah, yeah.
He's sorted. And that's that mental thing that he has to. This is a mental thing. He can shoot and score from there. You don't
It
have to be
is.
trash for that.
It
So,
is.
it's
And
purely
it's good.
mental. Good.
It's good that he's trying. I like that he's trying, but the whole team kind of felt like that. The whole team was making a move too much, right? Too many. We're trying to be fancy and to unlock a deep block. Everyone thinks that you need fancy passing to unlock a deep block. Yes, you can, unlock a deep block with fancy passing, but at the same time, it's a very difficult way of unlocking a deep block because it requires near perfection. You need to string 100, not 100, I'm exaggerating, obviously, 100 nice passes or fancy passes to unlock a block through passing alone, right? It doesn't work like that. So I think when you are in a position like Rashford was a couple of times, he wasn't the only one. There was Olmo, there was Rafinha who were in positions to shoot and try something, and they opted for for a flick, for a
Yeah.
back heel, for a turn on the ball, something that was not necessary. That looks nice if it goes through, but more than likely it won't go through. In a game where you have to chase the result and you're facing such a stubborn deep block, I don't think that was the answer. I don't think it was. So yes, the whole team was doing a bit one step too many, Rashford included. the thing.
All right, we have 2 pointers questions on Rashford. We probably go to the same answer, so I'll put both of them. So, Van asks, Liao and Rashford have very similar profile. Would you spend money on Liao and send Rashford back? 25 mil for Rashford is a bargain. True. And then KJ has another point that we should let Rashford go at the end of the season. He's not the profile we need. We need a creative outlet beside Yamal, Pedri, and Frankie. I think both are points. Now, the question is, what's the reality? There is a utopia where we can buy anybody we want to, and we can have any profile we want to. And if that was the case, then should we send Rashford back? Probably yes. But the reality is probably we won't have that. Now, uh, given our state of finances and where we are, would you find a better Rashford at 30 million or better than Rashford at 30 million? Maybe we will, maybe we won't. But that's the question, Dom. What do you feel?
Mm.
Because Liao is not coming in 30 mil, no chance.
No,
And
no, no,
and
no.
even Rashford, I don't think will go at 30. That's the price. If he gets bought, it'll be around 2025 for sure. So
Hmm.
who at 2025 can we get who can be better than Rashford is the question. Liao isn't the question because we won't be able to buy Liao. No questions
No,
on it. No way the
as
next season.
yeah, there's no. If there was ever a time to buy a Leao, it would be this season. But then this season we didn't have the money anyway, so it was never on the cards. Because next season you have to buy a Lewandowski replacement. You can't buy a player who will replace Lewandowski and then buy a Leao on the side. So it's not. It's impossible, right? It's impossible. So I think Rashford is the reality. Now to KG Leon's point that he's not the profile we need, there is an argument to be made for that. Now, why? It's because of Rafinha. When Lamine comes back, you have Lamine, you have a number nine, whoever that number nine is, maybe it's Lewandowski, maybe it's someone else, we don't know. And then you have the third winger. Now, if you have Rafinha and Rashford competing for that spot at left wing, they do offer similar things. So now the question is, do you want two of the same, slightly different, but let's just for the sake of the argument say that they're the same. They're not obviously exactly the same, but they're very similar in some regards. So do you want two players that do similar things, or do you want a Rafinha and someone opposite of Rafinha, someone who's good at different things? That's the question that Flick needs to answer because he knows what he wants. Obviously, we don't. But in that scenario, yes, you would need someone different. If you want two different profiles, you would need to let Rashford go and get someone else. But to Dev's point, then who do you bring? Because there's no money and there's not really many options out there that would be so affordable. Because Rashford is a bargain at that price because he can be a game breaker, right? I don't think he's Liao. He's not Liao, but he is someone who can change the game and someone who is affordable to us. So, and you don't get that often. That combination of those two things you don't get often. So
All right,
we'll
let's
see.
look at the game a little bit and see the numbers. It's always nice to
Oh
see.
yeah, Dev, I was just looking at that. Please pull up Frankie de Jong stats. Please, before we do anything else, pull up Frankie de Jong stats. There he is,
Okay,
right there. Among the subs, the first one on the subs on the right side, or there.
there you go.
No, that's Casado,
No,
or
here
is it?
on the right.
Or is it? Oh,
So, okay,
right.
Frankie is about, this is his, you guys can see this. This is
Yeah.
his heat map, so you can see all over here. But let's look at minutes played 45, expected assists 0.17, touches
Oh, yeah,
73,
that's fine.
98% of accurate passes, crosses, one accurate, long balls, two, dribble. Safe to say, didn't lose possession much, won his four, all his ground duels, and so on. Safe to say, he really changed the game. Good rating, took this position and went through. I'm sure you wanted to make a point, so go ahead.
I was just gonna say those stats are absolutely insane. Now I know everyone knows okay, I love Frankie, so I'm a bit biased, but these stats, whatever he tried, he actually followed through. That's 100% on most things that he did, bar the accurate passes. He has one misplaced pass in 45 minutes, one misplaced pass. The rest of it, whatever he tried, it was 100% success rate. You don't get that from I don't know. No one does that, right? No one does that. Bar Pedri maybe, but even Pedri sometimes. But Pedri does different things, so it's not really a comparison to be making. But it's insane. It is absolutely insane. And this player changes the game for you. That's where I keep saying, okay, this guy needs to be there, and he is there for a reason. But anyway, yeah, back to the game, Dev. Let's see what else can
Yeah,
we
I mean,
read out from it.
very happy for Araujo. I mean, he's poor guy has gone through a lot of, I won't say hate, but yeah, he's gone through a tough
Yeah,
time from Barca fans. I think
it
today
is hate. Yeah. Mm.
he definitely proved his worth. The goal was amazing. I loved it. He used to score so many goals. Remember back then in the 2021-2022 season, and then it stopped. So I was very happy when I saw him score a goal, and then made some really crucial saves. Just the tackling, took Rondon on, and this is where
Yeah.
you need an Araujo. You
Yeah.
can't take a Rondon on like he did if you are not built like that. As simple as that. And sometimes you need your central defender to be that big, strong guy, and that's what Ronald Araujo gets. Yes, he is not your passer and play out from the back guy, but I loved what he did with Rondon today, and I loved the just that energy that he has. So I was very happy with him. Olmo, we talked about it. Now there's many theories that okay, it was not because Olmo was bad, it was because Ferran and Olmo were getting in each other's way or what have you. Yes, we can theorize, but the question is for a 60 million player, we again, and I hate doing it, comparing money to ability, but we need more from a consistency perspective. Now the team is what we have. I think the people whom we have are the people whom we have. That's not going to change, right? So
Mm.
either we find a way to work with them. Now Ferran's not going to go away. Ferran's going to stay. Lewa can't start every match. We know that he's 37. So I mean, saying that okay, these two can't coexist. What is Flick supposed to do? And we will have more injuries, right? Flick wasn't given a blank checkbook to go and buy players. He's doing the best that he can with what he has. We have injuries, we have young kids. What do you do? So then if you are a professional football player, and you've been there over 15 years or 10 years or what have you, and you've played in different leagues, there has to be more consistency. I like him
Mm.
the days like when he's sublime and he does those sublime things and they look amazing. I love it, but the consistency is just not there, right? And I think today Ferran was also wasteful. I think he was trying too hard and wasteful, and you can see that in the score. Like, even though we don't really go too much into scores, but that's what you can see. Rashford also, you can see. I mean, standout players were the defensive players. You could right and Araujo. That's basically what it was. So the attack, which we talked about earlier, that this attack didn't really gel, and you can see that
Mm.
it just
Mm.
didn't work, right? The defense worked, but the attack didn't work. Thoughts, Tom?
There's a lot there now to unpack. Okay, let's start with that attack then, because that seems to be the hot point at the moment. So Ferran and Dani Olmo. Uh, Yeah, I can see the point that you're trying to make with the getting each other's way. Yes, Ferran does do that. He runs. He does make runs a lot, but Olmo also wants to make runs.
Yeah,
So there needs to be some sort of communication. It needs to be some sort of coordination when those runs happen. But I think more than that, even more than that, is the fact that so what does a proper number nine do that no one else does is pin the back line. So what Lewandowski does, he pins the
Ferran
defenders. He
can't do that.
pins. No, Ferran cannot do that. He doesn't do that. Ferran
Ferran
likes to
cannot
drop a
play
bit
with his
deeper.
back. He cannot play with
Yeah,
his shoulder. He cannot hold
yeah.
up. So
So when Lewandowski does that, when Lewandowski pins the defenders, he takes on two guys and he makes sure they stay put where they are, a bit higher up the pitch, or from the defender's perspective, a bit deeper on the pitch. And what does that do? That creates space that this marks Dani Olmo or whoever that number 10 is behind the striker. It this marks that guy. It means that that guy has more space to receive the ball and then run with the ball. It also Lewandowski also he doesn't make many runs. He doesn't run over big stretches of the pitch, but he does make smart runs and movements. He knows how he has to move to dismark other players, and he knows how other players need to move to dismark him. Because we saw him in a couple of previous games where he was instructing guys, okay, you go there so that in 2 seconds time I get some more space in that area over there. So he knows that. Ferran doesn't have that. Ferran will see space and Ferran will exploit space. And when it's as straightforward as that, that works. When it's so simple as that, But when you have someone like Dani Olmo behind Ferran trying to do similar things, yes, a clash will happen.
Yeah.
And when there's no one to pin those
Especially more
defenders,
so down because I think our game is through the center, right?
it
We
is.
don't really
Mhm.
create from the sides, so everything happens through this channel, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I think that exacerbates the problem when these two are there because our main creation is through that center, and you have those two creative players in that center who are both trying to make runs. And yeah, I think I don't know. Like Flick obviously has noticed it and surely has thought about it. But yeah, that's what I felt from.
yeah.
And then look at this block from Oviedo. Like this is the Bordalas block, but just Oviedo did it. Bordalas tried to play football and got
Mhm.
spanked. That's basically what happened. But yeah, go ahead, Dom.
No, I just wanted to move over to Araujo next. I think we're seeing a pattern now, because Araujo didn't start last game against Getafe, even though on paper he could have,
Yeah,
because there were some physical players out there
yep.
for Araujo to deal with. But today with Rondon on the pitch, obviously, I think that was the idea. Flick saw that lineup from Oviedo. He was like, okay, I need
You're
someone like
on.
Araujo. Araujo, yeah, on you go, lad. You do your thing. And I think that's currently what Araujo is doing in this squad. He is someone to put out, someone who does these things, who puts out fires when Flick predicts that there will be a fire. Right? He sees the lineup from Oviedo. He's like, okay, Rondon is there. I will need Araujo. Maybe tomorrow there'll be Sociedad, and he'll be like, okay, they don't have those players. Obviously, Sorloth and all that stuff. It can happen still, but he will see whether Araujo is needed by a game by game basis, right? He would decide, okay, maybe for this opponent I need Araujo, maybe for the next opponent I won't need him, and that's gonna be Araujo's season this year. I feel like that.
Yeah, but it was very good. I actually enjoyed it because he's gone through a tough time. He would have liked it today, winning the man of the match, scoring that goal, saving some really good chances. So I think he will be happy, and that's just one of those things. Okay, let's look into some other stuff. What is that we can talk about here? You can see the game state. Mostly it was Barca, but it was this position, and you felt it just after Frankie's substitution is when we had the most control on the game, and then we scored, and then we got complacent again, and then it was all Oviedo attacking and charging onto us until we scored that third goal, and that. So you can see that not much here, but again, while what I do want to say, while this looks very attacking, for the first half there was no bite. Like we didn't
Mm.
even have zero point 0.4 of xg or what have you. So there was a lot of yes effort, but not much output. If you look into that first half that happened, so and that's something that Flick will have to think about. I think yes, in the next game we've got Balde back, we've got Lamine back, but I don't think they're going to play the 90. I think they're going to be
No
eased in.
problem. Mm.
So that's one thing to be thought about. We still have to think about the Rafinha Rashford situation. So there are things, but the good thing is we won, and that's a good thing because otherwise today Madrid would have been 5 points up, and then tomorrow with Atleti, I think Madrid will win because they generally win. That's 8 points
Mm.
up. That would have been difficult,
Yeah,
to be honest. So I do like the fact that, yeah, I mean, we got this over the line, and now there's breathing room. And if
yeah,
tomorrow, if
yeah.
there's an upset and Atleti win, we have a chance to go up top.
Yeah, yeah, and this was the game that was on paper was supposed to be easy because Oviedo had scored only one goal before tonight, and they lost most of their games. But when you look at the score lines only, and we look at the stats only without watching the games, it's easy to get fooled, right? Because those were not easy games for anyone who's faced Oviedo, and they are a very resilient and tough team, and we saw that tonight as well. Now, Atleti and Real Madrid, I don't know. Atleti have had a very poor start of the season. I know Julian Alvarez scored a hat trick the other day, so they might be flying a bit high. I don't know. Don't know what the feeling in the camp is, but Atletico don't look as good this season, and I wouldn't expect them to trouble Real Madrid too much. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe that something happens. We can only hope, obviously, but Simeone has started it on the wrong foot this season. Let's just put it that way. So I don't know how much we can actually expect Atletico to trouble them.
I would say so. Like I think, and Madrid will be good this season. Like they're not spectacular, but Alonso has fixed the small tweaks that they needed to fix, and he's got a system that's working, and they're getting they just they look inevitable right now. We haven't seen them struggle too much. They haven't been playing champagne football as well, but they never do. That's not Real Madrid. They win, and they have been winning very
Mhm.
consistently every single game. And so I think tomorrow, if things, I think they're going to win. Unless
Mhm.
if they lose, that's an upset. But we will see.
Yeah.
Laurent and Julian Alvarez are the two people, and Sorloth probably, who can cause that upset. And sometimes they do get into each other's way, and that happens. So we'll keep an eye out on that. But even if
Mhm.
that happens, it's manageable. It's within that 2 to 5 point range, which is fine, which you can live with. So this win was necessary. This win
Oh
was
yeah.
absolutely necessary, and the fact that we got it without Lamine, without all of that stuff, which is good, because once they come back, the attacking output of the team will probably improve, and that's what we are looking for. So okay, that's it, guys. Okay, there's one more thing. Oviedo put in a real shift. They were man to man all the first round, didn't allow us any space. Yeah, absolutely. They put in a solid shift, and a lot of La Liga teams will put exactly this solid shift with lines of
Yeah.
5-4. So all these teams that are in the middle half or the second half of the table, that's their strategy against Barca. That's how they're going to play. So and we will struggle in many of them, and some not, but some we will. So just be mentally prepared for that. But that's it, guys. That's this. Will be back after the next game as well, and
Yeah.
then keep a lookout for the content we drop. We today we did a profile on Mark Canal. Check it out on the blog or on our YouTube channel. We're trying to make them shorter because of the feedback. We making long videos and nobody has time to watch. Anyway, let us know how it's going, and we can make improvements. We've been trying with some shorts as well. Dom's been doing a lot of work on the shorts, so let us keep us give us feedback on what you want to see. Um and yeah, I mean, just thanks for joining. There are 2,000 of us watching at the same time. Got the win. All good. Viscal Barca. Dominic, last thoughts.
No, that's about it. Dev. I think that you summed it up really well. So yeah, there we
All
go,
right,
guys.
guys.
We'll see you
See
in
you
the
on the
next one.
next one. And thank you always for joining. You guys make it really fun for us to come in and do it consistently. So thanks for joining. And we'll be back in a couple of days, to be honest. That's just
Yep.
about it. So
Yep. Yep.
take care. Have a good one. I'll see you
See
next.
you.